Hello everybody, I'm Audun Myskja. I've been working in the health services for 40 years in medicine, and I became more and more interested in the plight of groups like dementia and Parkinson. I have my PhD in music-based caregiving for dementia. We have a very successful model that's been adopted by Norwegian Health Directory. But I've collaborated with Norwegian Parkinson Union since 2002. We have done several projects together, so they are represented here. And we got a chance through grants from the Norwegian Extra Stiftelse and the lotteries to investigate rhythmic training. And in Levanger region in the middle of Norway, and also in the Oslo region, we gathered groups where we pioneered a collection of exercises that have been found valuable for Parkinson. We used rhythmic auditory stimulation, where you use the rhythmic stimulation, and we combine it with exercises for the three deeper senses, the vibrational sense. People were taught to use more their whole feet and place in the feet in the various planes that cater to the vibrational sense, and the vestibular sense, and the proprioceptive, the position of the joints. So we had a video where we started. I'll show you one of the exercises for the shoulder joints. You can join in if you want. Here, you have a ball in each. That was not, you're doing worse than the patients. So that's one of the exercises. And we found that in many exercise programs, the response from participants was not catered for. So we have allowed for that. So we ended up with also incorporating voice techniques, both the volume and also the rhythmic, da 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 da, and also relaxation. So it was a complete program we ended up with. And this prevented attrition. After the first year, a large number were dropping out, but I came there and I gave them exercise for the ones who were dropping out because of balance problems, giving specific balance exercises. And people who were more fit, they got a higher level of challenge. So actually after that we have not had dropouts for 4 years. So we have now completed a 5-year study which is continuing due to the interest of participants. And the top research milieux in Norway are now interested because you don't have many. How many 5-year studies on exercise have you seen? Not many. And so actually what we're doing is unusual because we have collected a control group locally. The researcher did not give any response, but the local leader of the Parkinson group has been able to collect the control group retrospectively, and we have good data, so we are continuing the study now. And what have we found? We saw that in the participant response, attrition was prevented, as I said. But another interesting point, the fear of falling was increased in the 5-year period, but not the incidence of falls. So they are afraid of falling, but if you can give the right exercise, they don't fall. And this is, as you know, in research now, the most important point to prevent falls. If you can prevent falls, you will really prevent these late stages of Parkinson's, to put it bluntly. We also adjusted the exercises individually. That is preventative for symptoms progressing. For instance, there was one guy who was dropping out because he had some problems with the torso movements when he was dressing. We gave specific torso movements and he still participated. We prevented this vicious spiral. And the non-participants, as we can see now, they have had a more rapid progression of symptoms. And the weakness of this study was that the local leaders, to physiotherapists, they did not have a very militant view on home training. So we've only had this one training gathering per week, and that's too little. It's underdosed, to my opinion. And what we're doing now, we're demanding from the participants, that they do home training, that they get programs that are adjusted so they can do at home. Because what I saw in the group has been an eye-opener for me out there. But we have the gatherings, and then we've done the group, and we all come like that, and they say, "You want to join us for coffee?" "Yeah, sure, I have time today." And they finish with the group, and they go out for coffee.
Oh.
And so we really need to emphasize. So what I'm doing now is tightening the screws. The people who are participating, they really need to make a commitment to do more work at home with the big movements. What we've seen that time ago, the UPDRS, in the beginning we had a slight improvement, and now we've had a slight decrease through the 5 years. But it's nothing compared to the expected decrease. They've stabilized. The disease date is stabilized, and pain is slightly lowered. Depression rate is, if you look at the international studies, where it's up to 40%. We had the Montgomery-Åsberg depressing rating scale. It's been around 6, and it's stable, even a bit lower, non-significant. It's about the level that you are now. This is a selection factor. We're going to penetrate this. The people who are not depressed may be the ones who participate in exercise groups, but still I think this is a really valid piece of data. Also the Hurt Hope scale. They have a hope for the future. That's also fairly sensational. They look brightly on the future because they have the sense of community, the sense of belonging, and this is very important in their perspectives for the future. So we have in the rhythmic exercise program stabilized the gait parameters, mobility and flexibility, decreased pain, fatigue, prevented falls, and this is the dialogic evolution of the exercise program. And they have, in the interviews, they have emphasized clearly this community feeling. This is the alpha and the omega in their own responses. That this is a motivation factor for exercise, and a group staying together for this duration of time speaks for itself. Are there questions? This is a short version. And we are treating the numbers statistically now to see how we can now then improve the whole value of the study. So we're continuing to have maybe the world's first 10-year study in exercise.